Oh my gosh, is this gonna work? I need somebody to tell me that they can hear me right now. Let's set this all right. All right. I can see somebody who's watching. Will you let me know? Can you hear me? Because I've got a take two. Last week I tried this and it did not work. So, YouTube, this listener, viewer, can you just give me a yes? I can hear you in the comments there, so I know this whole thing is working. Um, I think we're live, everyone. I'm gonna wait for confirmation that you can hear me. I hope you can. I can hear myself in these headphones, but that doesn't mean you all can hear me out there. So, all right, we're live, everyone. Are you ashamed to tell anyone when you start a new diet? Do you hesitate to even try to change your eating habits out of fear of failing yet again? Well, guess what? This episode is for you. Stick around because I'm going to talk all about the fear of failure surrounding weight loss, why it wasn't your fault you failed, and why what you need, exactly what you need to ensure that you never fail again. So, we're doing this. All right, take two, a new podcasting studio here. Well, let me just get the show started off here. So, welcome everyone to Keto Chat Live. I am your host, Carol Freeman. I have a master's in nutrition and clinical health psychology. I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist and also a board certified ketogenic nutrition specialist. All right, I specialize in helping women 40 plus follow a keto diet for sustainable weight loss. And medical disclaimer, this show is meant for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not medical advice nor intended to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any condition. If you have any questions or concerns related to your specific medical conditions, please seek out the care of a qualified healthcare practitioner. A integrated healthcare specialist is what I would suggest. All right, somebody let me know. Can you hear me? I got a YouTube listener, viewer out there. Just give me a yes in the comments that you can hear this. I had challenges last week. I've actually not been able to broadcast for months now for various challenges, and so I just need some validation here. Tell me you can hear me. I've been doing a little digital nomad life and using this podcast studio here in Phoenix. And yes, yay! Oh, great. I think that's my assistant, Shirley. Thanks for letting me know you can hear. It's a miracle. I spent an hour and a half here last week trying to get the sound to work, and I went live. I thought it was working. It wasn't. After 20 minutes, I was speaking into the air, the ether, apparently. And mm, thank you for that validation there. All right. So, on with the show, everyone. Now that I know that you can all hear me, we get to have fun. Um, so just, personal update here. Again, I've been doing a little digital nomad life. I was in some Airbnbs in the Phoenix area for a while. I went up and visited my son for his birthday in the Northwest in August and also did a bunch of comedy shows. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun. A lot of really great, successful shows all over Oregon and Washington State. And back here now in Phoenix and trying out some co working spaces. And I'll tell you, this is the third time, actually, fourth, that trying to get my laptop to work with this podcasting studio equipment. Uh, First time I went to one place, 30 minutes, no luck. I came to this new place, 90 minutes. Young fella here was helping me. 90 minutes, could not get it to work. I gave up. Actually, no, that was the one that I thought we got it working. And after 20 minutes of broadcasting, it was not working. So we gave up. Then I called my son. I don't know why I didn't call him in the beginning. I called him and I said, please help your mama. Please help me. And 5 minutes yesterday, and we got it all working. He's so smart. He's a old school gamer. He's been gaming since he was like 9 years old. And he's also finishing up the end of his computer science degree right now. So 5 minutes is all it took for him to figure it out. So should hire him out as tech support for anyone who needs that. Yeah, so traveling there back in Phoenix, Arizona, and next week won't be going live because I've got a wedding I will be attending. Another announcement, another update here before we get into the show topic today is that I decided to do a little experiment where I'm opening up some guest spots on my group coaching, my keto coaching call. So normally, the only people that get access to those are people that have are current members going through my program that I work through with people, very, very comprehensive program that has full training and lots and tons of support. And as part of that, they get twice weekly group coaching calls with me, small groups. And so I thought I'd just kind of see if there's some people out there that were curious about maybe what it's like to work with a keto coach, but weren't quite ready to take the full dive and wanted just a little taste of what it's like to work with me. And so I currently have 3 people. Yeah. So I opened up. I'm just going to do one spot per call. So I'm limiting that because I want it to be, it is primarily for my current clients. Also, oh, so people that have finished my front end program are welcome to stay on for the back end membership as well. So those are the only people that typically can have access to me on those calls. And so I'm doing a little trial to give some guest spots out. So I have those booked up for next week already. And I've got another person that we're at the point of trying to schedule the one spot. So potentially have 2 spots a week. And again, this is meant to be, it's not meant to be like just free coaching or anything like that. It's meant to be you're considering getting a keto coach. Maybe you've listened to a lot of my episodes of my podcast and you're curious what it would be like to actually work with me. And so it's next step in that process of seeing what it's like, just get a little trial run with us, not only get my support but be able to hang out with my keto members that are very successful, and you get to hear their motivational stories and get tips from them as well too. So if that's something you're interested in, I'll give you contact info at the end of this show if that's something you would like to just try it out and see what it's like to hang out with us in real time live where you can actually talk to all of us. So all right, let's go on with the show topic today. So today's topic is about fear of failure. This idea for this topic came up because I speak with everybody personally, one on one on a Zoom call before they become a client with me, and I spend at least an hour with them. Typically, sometimes it goes an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I really want to understand the journey that people have been on, the goals, why it's so important to them to lose weight and keep it off, specifically why they're looking to trying to keto, specific needs that they have. What are the obstacles? What is it about their lifestyle that makes it so that they have everybody has a unique needs about how they need to have a dietary approach that will fit their lifestyle. So many dietary approaches out there make people just change everything and then it doesn't fit your lifestyle, right? So have you ever done those programs where you got bars and shakes and things like that? And so what if your friend's having a birthday party and you can't go to the restaurant for their birthday, or you just go off your diet? So anyways, I spend a lot of time talking with the people before they become a client. um, and this way I know that I can help them. I know what their struggles are. I know what they're looking for, what they need. And that way I can make sure that I'm the right person to help them with all that. And because I've spent so much time with people and I've been doing this for 6.5 plus maybe 7 years now, that's a lot of people I've talked to, a lot of ladies. So I really, really, really understand the ladies that I work with. I understand their struggles, what they've been through. And this topic idea came to me after, it's a common one that people have that, like, well, I'm afraid to try again. I'm afraid to work with you. I'm afraid to try keto. I'm afraid to try to lose weight in general. A lot of people have that fear because they've failed so many times. The ladies I'm working with have dieted for decades, most of their adult life. And name a diet, they've tried it. They've done it. And so some of them, I mean, a lot of them have that fear. And the percentage of how much that fear impacts them, though, varies from person to person. And I talked to a lady recently that she was almost paralyzed with that fear of, what if I fail again? And for her, she thought it was something wrong with her. And so maybe you identify with that as well. Maybe everybody's on the spectrum somewhere of, like, maybe they have a tiny, tiny bit of fear that they might fail, might gain the weight back, not be able to stick with it. Or maybe they have like 100% fear and they're paralyzed. That's where this woman was. So anywhere you're at on that continuum, I'm going to chat about this today. So, hang out with me, if you're watching live, put a comment in the chat box here and let me know. Um, It looks like I can't see who's live on LinkedIn. So I don't brand new this week as we're broadcasting to LinkedIn. That's a new one. We typically do in our Facebook group. We do to my YouTube channel, and we're doing it to LinkedIn, my LinkedIn profile this time, but that's brand new to me. It doesn't show me who's watching from there. If you're watching live, I don't know how that works. So anyways, if you're watching from LinkedIn, give me a comment as well. But just tell me where you're joining us from. I do love this to be an interactive conversation here as we're going along. So feel free to add comments, questions in it as we go. And so, yeah, so this idea for this topic came after I had chatted with this woman. And again, she was nearly paralyzed with fear of failing. And so I realized this is a really important topic that we need to talk about because it's not actually your fault. This whole thing of you go on a diet, you lose some weight, maybe you can stick with it for 2 weeks, and I'll tell you what, I was a terrible dieter before, I could never stick with anything very long. I remember trying Jenny Craig, the terrible little food, the tiny little portions, and I was like, "I'm starving on this, I can't stick with this." I think I made it a day or 2 or a meal or 2, I don't know. And I couldn't stick with anything. And maybe some of you are good at sticking with something for months and months. Part of why my approach is so comprehensive is because I know for people that it can be really hard to make those changes. It can be really hard to stick with it long term. And so when I started my approach, knowing that I was a bad dieter, I wanted to throw everything I'd ever studied about behavior change, the psychology of appetite regulation, the biochemistry of that, neurochemistry of it, and cravings, and so on and so forth. And I wanted to throw the kitchen sink, everything I'd ever learned into my approach. And so that's what I makes what I do so unique. And I'm just going to share so much with you all tonight. I've missed you so much. It's been way too long. So where was I going with that? All right, we chat there. Okay, the fear of failure, and so you can stick with a diet for a short period of time, but your body is designed to get fatigue from dieting, restricting, and losing weight for a really long period of time, and so it's really normal then that your body wants to try to regain the weight. And most diets out there, they have this fantasy, this fallacy that like you have this, it's a temporary thing you do and then you get to keep the weight off. It's magic, it's a quick fix. Um, so let me just, I've got an outline here. Let me go forward with that a little more thoughtfully here instead of just my rambling thoughts about this. So, yeah, so like I said, one of the biggest fears of the obstacles of women that I work with is fear at failing at dieting. And they've tried everything under the sun, and our bodies are really designed to gain that weight back. So, and again, I know that you think there's something wrong with you. So, if this is something that is a fear for you, it's not you. And I'll tell you, everyone I talk to that they thought there's something wrong with them. They have the fantasy that everyone else out there is able to lose weight really easily and stick with it, and it's never a problem again. But I'll tell you what, almost everybody has this struggle. And so you didn't fail the diet failed you. Okay, so we've been totally brainwashed by the diet industry. Now, I'm going to talk about four different things, lies, myths, brainwashing portions of the diet industry. These are the things that are failing you and not the other way around. So, the diet mentality, uh, temporary. It's a black and white thing. It's something you go on and you go off. And the fantasy that is a quick fix and there's something wrong with your body, which is why you're gaining weight. And so the diet fixes that. And then number 4 then is no long-term support. So let's talk a little bit more in depth about each of these areas where all those diets out there that you've tried before where they failed you. So the diet mentality is that uh, and with my clients, we're working really hard at unraveling this. Okay, so give me a yes in the comments or a why if you've ever followed a diet that had this kind of mentality where you have to eat very little and you just have to get used to the fact that you're going to feel hungry, you're going to feel deprived, and you're going to you're going to eat in this way that's totally unsustainable because that's how you have to lose weight. You're going to have probably shakes and bars and meal replacement things and very special, unpalatable, not tasty things. And that's just what a diet is. You need to have a shake in the morning or a smoothie or something blended up so you can just chug it because you're too busy to make a real meal, and that's how you can get through it. And since you have cravings all the time, you need those sweet shakes and bars and other snacky things in order to be able to stick with it. So that's all the diet mentality. Oh, and you need to eat 6 times a day, and you need to drink your body weight in ounces of water. I could go on and on. You need 47 servings of fruits and vegetables every single day. You need to eat small little portions, eat a giant salad and a tiny portion of meat, eat meat like it's a condiment. Okay, so all of that is the diet mentality is what I call it, is what you've been lied to about how to diet, how to lose weight, how to eat in a way that you lose weight. So, and then the number two thing that I said that is how you've been brainwashed by the dieting industry is that you're taught that this is something temporary you do. It's terrible, it doesn't taste good, it's not satisfying, but that's okay. You don't have to stick with it very long. We're told that it's a black and white thing. You're on your diet or you're off your diet, and the only way you can suffer through the miserable food you're eating and the hunger is knowing that you don't have to do it forever. Okay, this is another lie. This is another lie. Uh, that and that you can magically then transform back into maintenance, right? So you stick with this crazy unsustainable way of eating to lose the weight until you lose the weight, and then your body, you will be so motivated because you hit that number on the scale. You'll be so motivated that will take over everything biologically that happens in your body and overcome all of that magically. It's like a wave of a wand, that you will just keep the weight off, that you can go back to eating the foods that you were eating before. You can eat what you ate before that made you overweight, but now it's magic. It's magic now that once you lose the weight, you will be motivated to keep it off. Okay, give me a yes if this is a lie that you've told yourself before. We all have. My ladies think, before they work with me, they think that as well. The number three lie, brainwashing lie that you've believed is that, well, it's a quick fix. Like there was something wrong with you. That's why you're overweight. Why everyone else out in the world can just eat whatever they want and they don't have to be conscientious of what they're eating, but there's something wrong with your body and you need to fix it. And by losing weight, that will fix your body. It will fix what's broken, and then you won't gain the weight again. Right? Have you thought this too? Give me a yes if that's one of the ones that you tend to fall, a trap you fall into too. You think of, well, yeah, no, I can't wait to go back to eating XYZ again. I can't wait to have my cupcakes and fries again, um, because once I lose the weight, my body will be fixed. It won't gain the weight. And the number four brainwashing lie of the diet industry is there's no long-term support. And they all kind of overlap, right? So it's a temporary thing, it's a quick fix, it's not something you need to do forever. Um, this is all fantasy world. Again, this is how diets have failed you. It's not your fault. So the truth is, however long you want to keep the weight off, that's how long you have to make a dietary change. So we have to face the fact that whatever you were eating before is the culprit. Your poor eating habits, the highly processed, refined foods, the overeating, the wrong combinations for your body, that's what caused the weight gain. And you have to change. You have to eat something different than what you've been eating. And you can't just do something temporarily and then it fixes everything magically. You have to have a permanent change. So I don't care what way of eating that you want to do. That's your number one step, is find a way of eating that's different than what you're doing that's gaining the weight. Find a way of eating that you can sustain, that you would like to. Maybe you feel like you don't know how to sustain it, but the food tastes good and is satisfying, you enjoy it, and you could see yourself eating that way indefinitely. Okay, so that's step one, how you have to get away from this. Moving out of the fear of failing is identify a way of eating for you that is something that you could see yourself sticking with indefinitely. For the for the most part. Maybe there's some occasional breaks in there, but for example, I've got a lady on my email list. I don't know if she listens to my podcast or not, but she's on my email list, and every once in a while she checks in with me. Interestingly, so our sons were in Boy Scouts together, and my son is now 27, so I'm sure her son is somewhere around that age as well. And so I knew her from, I went, 20 plus years ago is when I knew her. And so she updates me every once in a while that she's been following. She doesn't want to do keto. She says, I like my carbs, and so um she's been following Noom. And that's more like a psychological, it's like calorie counting plus a little bit of psychology in there, portion awareness and things like that. And she's lost 98 pounds. And I think at this point is maybe it's been a year or so, and she's in the maintenance phase of the program. And I think that's great. She identified that she didn't want to do something where she had to restrict carby foods, and so I told her that something that where you do calorie counting. So if you don't want to follow certain uh, you know foods that you tend to overeat, you're going to have to count calories. And so for her, that seemed like a better choice for her lifestyle, and it's working for her. So I'm so happy. So that's your number one step of the fear of failure, is finding a way of eating that fits, that you can see yourself doing indefinitely. Because guess what? However long you want to keep the weight off, that's how long you have to change your diet. Okay. So we got to get rid of the idea it's temporary. Nope. From day one, when my clients are working with me, we're actually figuring out what is their baseline way of eating that they can stick with, because we're eating in a way that we're getting rid of cravings. We're using natural appetite regulation by certain parameters of what we're eating. So they get to eat as much as they want of certain foods, because they're naturally satisfying. They taste good. They fill them up. They want to stop eating when they're done. They don't have hunger and appetite all day long. Um, we're looking at different cues that cause us to have cravings and things like that. So we've got a full parameter here that teaches you how to eat in a way that kind of takes us back before we had all these industrialized, highly processed, highly palatable food combinations. And so while we call it keto, it's more of just going back to an ancestral way of eating that is in alignment with how our bodies are designed to work. And that ends up being really individual for each person. And so again, number one, we got to get rid of this temporary quick fix thing. So diet mentality. Let's see. Let me just go through all four of these and bust these down into what you really need to focus on. So diet mentality. This is one for my ladies. I've got to break this, right? So we're not doing bars and shakes. All of those things actually just encourage overeating. How many of you have done the Slim Fast diet where you do 2 shakes and a sensible meal? I tried that too. Those shakes were not filling at all. In fact, I drank one and then wanted a full meal. There was nothing about those that were satisfying. It was just like, okay, that tasted like chocolate milk. Now where's my food? Never worked for me. So I have to break them of that. For some of them, they're used to, well, that's what a diet is. If I'm losing weight, I have to have bars and shakes, and I have to be hungry, and I have to drink a ton of water, and I got to eat all these vegetables. We got to scrap that, throw it in the garbage. We're done with that. So we're gonna eat real food. I teach them how to eat in a way that's make it so fast and easy and simple that it's just as fast as making one of those shakes. It could be as easy as grabbing a bar because you're just grabbing food. For example, for me, I have hard-boiled eggs in my fridge, and I have sliced cheese, and I have sliced deli meat all the time. Those are staples. And so anytime I want a quick and easy breakfast, my first meal of the day, I can grab some hard-boiled eggs and some sliced cheese, or even mozzarella string cheese. Okay. Meal is done. That's faster than making a smoothie. That's faster than making a shake. It's just as fast as grabbing a bar, and you can eat it on the go too if you don't even want to stop and eat. So we're getting rid of the diet mentality. We're switching to eating real food, real whole foods, simple, real whole foods. And if you don't like meal prep, um, I'm teaching my clients, let's make this fit your lifestyle. Do you do meal prep now? If you don't, let's make it so that when you go grocery shopping, you're buying things that are already prepped for you. Somebody else has done the prep. They've sliced the cheese, they have hard-boiled eggs for you, they've sliced the deli meat, um, on and on. Make it just as easy as that. But we're going to have to switch to real foods because that's what's going to help bring in natural appetite regulation. Anytime we're eating these highly processed things, like I mentioned, the Slim Fast Shake, highly processed, sweetened, all those things trigger eating more, not less. So we're going to undo the diet mentality. We're going to let go of all that. The next thing we're going to do is get rid of the idea that it's temporary. So I kind of talked about this one already. This was the first thing I kind of was giving you a reality check on, is that however long you want to lose weight, to keep the weight off, that's how long you need to stick with your new eating habits. Okay. Again, this is the brainwashing of the diet industry, is that they say, no, just a temporary thing. You just do this crazy restrictive thing. A very dear friend of mine, I love her to death. And I don't really like to work with my close friends and family. They do what they want to do. If they want to work on keto, I'm here to help them, but I'm not going to try to convert anybody. But she's working out with a personal trainer, and they gave her this crazy diet plan, which is I don't remember, like 9 cups of vegetables a day, and they have to all be raw, and meats but no fats at all. And so it's basically like meat and raw vegetables. And I'm like, oh girl, she's gonna have so much gas. But you know, but also I'm sure that she's going into it as, well, it's just a temporary thing. I don't have to do this forever. I mean, it's not going to taste good, and I'm going to crave all the stuff I normally eat, but it's just temporary. And she's also going to it as well. I got to start it next week, so I'm going to eat all the bread and carbs this entire week, because I won't be able to eat them on my temporary diet. All right, so get rid of that idea. If you want to lose weight and keep it off, if you want to not fail at weight loss, you have to make a permanent change. You have to find something you can change indefinitely. And so I often use on this show, I talk about with a gym membership, right? If you want to be fit, that you have to go work out regularly. You have to do cardio, weight training, whatever it is you want to do, your Zumba classes. You have to do that all the time if you want to stay fit. We know that if you go work out for 6 weeks, it isn't like, oh, I don't have to ever work out again. I'm so fit now the rest of my life. My muscles will just stay this way. My cardiovascular training will stay this way. We know fitness wise that we have to do it as long as we want to stay fit. Why have we bought this lie with the dieting world that you do a temporary diet, that's how you lose weight and keep it off? Why have we bought this lie? So you need a permanent change. Find a way of eating that you enjoy. Now, all my ladies that work with me, they choose keto. I'm not trying to convince them of that. I'm working with people that are seeking that out because they get the satiety from the protein focus. We've got adequate fat that triggers different hormones as well, that trigger satiety, and all the other things that we're doing to make it tasty and satisfying and turn off the cravings and lower the appetite, so it's so easy to stick with. So find whatever it is that you want to stick with. And the next one, so number 3 then, is that quick fix thing. We got to stop the idea that the short-term crazy diet is what fixes why you gained weight. That's not true at all. So the reasons that we gain weight they're multiple, but we live in an obesogenic society. Basically, is the ground floor reason for this, is that all the foods around us. And I was listening to a podcast today that the guy was saying that 60%, the average U.S. citizen, 60% of their calories come from highly processed, ultra processed foods. So 90% of the grocery store, right? So not the perimeter where the vegetables and the meats and the natural fats are, but everything in the middle. That's all the highly processed foods. 60% of people's calories are coming from those things. And all those ultra processed foods cue overeating. They have low satiety, meaning when you eat them, they don't ever make you feel full. You don't want to stop eating them. And they're also hyper palatable. So it's 2 things. They don't make you feel like you want to stop eating, and they make you feel like you want to keep eating them. Those are actually 2 different things, but they couple together. So you overeat them, high in calories, so they're carbs and fat together, that highly palatable combination that cues you to overeat it. We also do very little expenditure of energy or muscles or anything like that. You literally can sit in your bed and order food or shopping. You can work from your bed now. You don't even ever have to leave your bed except to go to the bathroom, maybe. Um, and so we don't have much exercise that we're doing. I mean, that's a small portion of it, but mostly it's the food environment. There's multiple other factors, but that's most of it is the food choices we're making. And so also our bodies are wired. Our brain is wired to seek out food. It's gonna feed never stop after one bag of Doritos. All right. Is this my kid or just somebody else who happens to yeah, get the bigger bags. Then you don't ever have to stop. I mean, yeah, there's a reason why, the Lay's slogan is I bet you can't just eat one. I mean, maybe they changed that slogan. I don't know if they still have that anymore. So, um, right. So, highly palatable food environment that we live in, and our brains are wired to seek out food, especially high calorie density foods, and to eat as much as possible. Our bodies, for most people, are designed to gain fat as much as possible because most of human existence, food was pretty scarce. And so our bodies have been designed, evolved over time to eat as much food as possible, move as little as possible, and to gain weight for the times when we wouldn't even have any food. Ah, now, fast forward to today when we have so much food that's so cheap and available in excessive quantities. That's why you gained weight. It's not that you didn't go on a temporary diet to fix it. So, this idea that it's going to fix what's wrong with your body, no, your body's doing exactly what it's meant to do. It's supposed to do. It's wired to eat lots of food and gain it. So there's no diet that's going to fix how your body is designed and wired to do it. So you have to eat in a way that is going to be able to be sustainable, not a quick fix. All right, and then the fourth one is also probably one of the most important ones is no long-term support. Again, because they're temporary, you do it short term, but again using the gym analogy, however long you want to be fit is how long you have to work out. However long you want to lose weight and keep it off, that's how long you need support for. And because our bodies are designed, our brains and our bodies are designed to overeat and gain weight, and we live in a world where there's that food is just to reach away. How are you going to manage that? How are you going to stick with it? Most people say, "Oh, I can't. Keto's too hard to stick with. It's not sustainable." Well, guess what? Every way of eating that's healthy is too hard unless you have the right things in place. You need that support. Now, when I looked at, I need to make that noise stop. Let's see if I close it, if it will stop making those noises. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Hopefully not. And so 2 years ago, when I developed my long-term support membership for my clients, I looked at the research, and research shows that one of the most important things that people get when they are able to lose weight for a year or longer, keep it off, is that they get that support for a year or longer. And so this is because you have to have that community. You have to train your brain that you behave like these people and not like all the other people in the world that are overeating highly processed foods. So the support is really important. One, it's going to help you break through plateaus. So having the support not only of an expert that can help you know what to do and how to find the way that's sustainable for you, your personality, your lifestyle, your specific body needs, but also having a community of people that are successful as well, that are doing it, that are uh, fighting the current, they're going against the trend of overeating like 80% of the population is. um, so the support that I'm talking about then is two things, an expert guide, a coach, but also a community of people that are successful that you can lean into and that you can copy their behavior. Have you ever heard the phrase that your income is the average of your five closest friends? Well, guess what? Your eating habits are the average of your five closest friends. So make your closest friends people that are successful. So whether you work with a keto coach like me, or whether you find that community yourself that you can hang out with, make sure that is part of your equation. Again, these were the four things that need to happen. That the four reasons why you've failed at diets in the past. It's not that you failed, the diets failed you. And then basically we swap those around, and those are the 4 things you have to do differently in order to succeed. All right. So let's see. Okay, covered that. Let me look at this. All right. So again, let me just recap. You've been brainwashed by the diet industry into thinking that it was your fault that you failed a diet, but it's not true. There are 4 things that they lied to you about that you need to do the opposite of. So ditch the diet mentality. Stop doing shakes and bars and sweets and things like that. Eat real food. Get rid of the idea that it's a temporary thing that's crazy, doesn't taste good. Find a way of eating that you enjoy, that's conducive to weight loss and health, that you could potentially see yourself sticking with indefinitely. Get rid of the idea that a diet fixes what's wrong with your body. Your body's doing what it's designed to by seeking out food and overeating it. And get some long-term support. And just another little plug for the experiment I'm doing. I said at the beginning of the top of the show that I'm doing a little experiment where I'm inviting guests to come on my coaching calls. So we're allowing 1 person per call. I've got them booked up already this week. And but if it's something you're interested in, if you're thinking about maybe that's what's caused the failure in the past for you, is you didn't get the right support, supporting an expert that can help you navigate the waters of finding a way of eating that fits for you, but also a community of people that are successful that you can make your 5 closest friends. And so fear of failing at weight loss, again, it's not your fault. The diet failed you. So get the right things in place. So if you like what you've heard here today, you'd like to get a little more personalized support for your keto diet. Again, if you'd like to try out what it would be like to have a keto coach by being a guest on one of my small group coaching calls, reach out. I'm going to put an email here on the screen in just a moment. And here we go. So send an email to support@ketocarol.com. Carol has an E on the end. It's the very fancy French spelling of Carol. So support@ketocarol.com. Send an email. Let us know that you'd like to try it out. You'd like to see what it'd be like to have your 5 closest friends as successful keto people that are sticking with it and not failing at weight loss again. So, all right. So if you're one of the people that are ready to stop messing around and get ready for the next chapter of your life where you're the best version of yourself, send us an email. Come check out what it's like to work with us and all the other successful keto people. So, all right, that's the wrap, everyone. Today's topic of fear of failure at dieting and the 4 things you need to flip on your head in order to get the success that you want so you can get a diet that works for you. You're not the reason that it didn't work. So thank you all for being here. I will see you again next time. That's all for now. Thanks. Bye.